Hello, my friends, and welcome. This is Brian, the speaker for the dead, coming to you today with a video where it is my sad duty to speak the death of some really great guys, really great people. Just in the last few days, we've lost Ozzy Osborn and Hulk Hogan. Now, these are men who defined a generation, and multiple generations. If you really want to be true to the facts, Ozzy Osborn has been a musical institution almost my entire life, starting with Black Sabbath and then moving to a solo career. I can't say that I was always the biggest Ozzy Osborn fan. I was raised in a very Christian home, and it was believed that when he was coming up when I was younger, that he was kind of a evil individual. He used to bite the heads off bats. He used to do some really crazy things back in his youth. And, a lot of Christian people saw that as, hey, but it was just really a persona. I think, when he gets up there and stands before the Lord, he's going to have to answer for the things that he did, just like everybody else does. I don't think his sins were any worse or any better than anybody else's. And only we know how things actually go. And what we did and didn't do, the things we did that were good, the things that we did that were bad. God will never condemn us. We will do that to ourselves, all on our own. But I saw a man who loved his family, who raised 2 children, stayed married to the same woman forever. And that's pretty impressive. That doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. And so I salute the man who was evil incarnate for rock and roll through most of my growing up years. And he will be severely missed. So some of the greatest rock and roll hits, some of the catchiest tunes, riffs and stuff, and music that was produced by him, is so well known and has affected so many people's lives. I mean, I dare you to think about Crazy Train without hearing the beginning of that song. Aboard! Oh, Ozzy. Mama, I'm Coming Home was very popular when I was growing up. He just had a way about him, and made a lot of great, memorable music. On to Hulk Hogan, and I'm sorry I'm not doing these individually. Unfortunately, these two, and I have to do this periodically because we seem to lose people in series of 3. So hopefully Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and other great guys don't join these 2 giants. Hulk Hogan, I was a Hulkamaniac when I was a kid. Hulk Hogan was a hero. He cared about kids. He talked to kids. He was, he tried to be a role model. He tried to use his platform, if you want to call it that, his career, to do good things. Now he had a period where he went dark and stuff like that, but that's show business. He never stopped being a positive influence on the community, on his community, and the people who were around him and cared for him. And I've seen that there's a lot of bitter Democrats today that are liberals, whatever you want to call these people, that are cheering his death and stuff because he supported Donald Trump. And it's sad to me that people can try and lead good lives for the most part, try and do their best, raise good families, I mean, he was physically fit his entire life. He never sacrificed that. He was committed to being physically fit and to be a role model that way his entire life, his entire career. And yet people forget everything because of one thing. And it says more about them than it does about Hulk Hogan. I'm sure there's things that Hulk Hogan didn't agree with that President Trump did. And this isn't about President Trump. This is about Hulk Hogan. And taking happiness, for lack of a better word, from the death of an individual who didn't do anything more than believe something different than you, makes you the truly evil person in that relationship, between the pair. If you're comparing two different individuals, Hulk Hogan never wished death on anybody. He never got on TikTok or YouTube or whatever and proceeded to cheer the death of somebody or to speak evil things like that. He was never like that. He was never that kind of man. I remember the WWF, and I was always really sad when they changed it, the World Wrestling Federation. And I remember the Spanish Fly. I remember Macho Man, Randy Savage. I remember the Hulk cartoons. I don't mean Hulk like Green Hulk, Hulk. I remember the wrestling cartoons when I was a kid, where they go off and have adventures and teach lessons and stuff. That was a big thing when I was growing up. Cartoons like Masters of the Universe. So many cartoons when I was growing up would have a moral lesson at the end of the cartoon that was teaching something good, something moral. And that was when when Hulk was big in his prime back in the day. They had that cartoon show. I don't know how many of you remember watching that on Saturday mornings, but I sure do. And I loved that. I loved him. I mean, we didn't get a lot of wrestling matches in Podunk, Idaho, where I live. We had 4 channels if you count PBS, and nobody really counts PBS. Of course, back then it was actually something worth something, not like now, where Elmo goes off on a tirade and says F you to half the country. And I realized he got hacked, but same thing. But those things helped make me who I was. Hulk Hogan reaching out to kids and saying, "You can do it, brother." He just had that. He had that way. He had that mojo about him that you trusted him. You trusted him to teach you the right things and say the right things and try and do the right things. Not that he was perfect. I mean, no hero is perfect with the exception of the Savior. But these were good men. And in the last couple of minutes that I have with you here, this is the thought that I had, and I shared this on Loki's but his Discord, I guess, that it sure seems like every year we lose more and more truly great people. We've lost so many World War II veterans, the greatest generation. We've lost so many fantastic actors that have gotten old. The Sean Connerys, the James Earl Jones, the Hulk Hogans, the Max von Sydows. There's so many that we've lost, and I suppose every generation feels this way as their heroes get older and die. But I don't see those people, those men and women that were my heroes. I don't see them being replaced by more great people up and coming. I see less and less people rising up through the ranks. I can't look at the new younger actors and go, that's a guy that I can't look at a Pedro Pascal and think there's a hero for my kids. I can't look at anybody, honestly. There's so few. that as the generations, my older generation of people that I watched growing up, get older and pass away, I don't see the younger generations coming up to rise to greatness. I feel a little bit like if you ever watched the series Babylon 5, what was happening to the Minbari, where they felt like their strongest souls were not coming back. They were being lost somewhere. They believed that they were being lost to the humanity, to the human race, that their strongest souls were not returning back to Minbar. And I feel a little bit like that. Like our greatest souls are gone, and the ones that are coming to replace them either aren't as great or aren't being allowed to be as great because of the time we live in, and because of the corruption and the destruction of our society and Hollywood and America in general, where we are. I feel very much like I think it's a Tennyson quote, and you'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong on this, that we are not now that power that we once were. It's something along that line. That it's basically him lamenting the fall of the British Empire. That they are not the men and women that they once were, and that something has been lost that can't be recovered. It's just like that old saying that hard times make great men make easy times make soft men make hard times. And I may have gotten that a little wrong, so I apologize about that. But I feel like that's what's happening, that we're in that cycle where the great men have made it easy, and now we who are living have it so easy that we're not rising to become great men and women. That we are creating a situation where we will be much less than the generations before us, and that our generations that are living right now will see the collapse, and which will lead to hard times, which will eventually lead to great men and women again. But it's sad to be, I guess, in this part of the cycle. Great and sad. What does Ollivander say in Harry Potter? Great. I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he did terrible things. Great, but terrible. And I feel like that doesn't have anything to do with what I was saying. So I don't know why I said it. It sounded good in my head. But anyway, thanks, Hulk. Thanks for being there. Thanks for being a good example to me as a kid. Thanks, Ozzy, for the music, for the memories, for the dances I went to where your music was played, and the mosh pits and the line dances and everything that came from the music that you helped create. And you will be missed. Thank you, and we will talk to you next time. Bye now.